Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. And heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show with your generous donation at themikewagnershow.com. Also support us on Anchor FM and also on PayPal. Make sure you give generously. And for great gift ideas, including t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, tote bags, throw pillows, and more. Go to the Amazon store at the Mike Wagner Show podcast and check out the great items. And for more great gift ideas, go to me and Molson Zia's store at Amazon.com and check out his books, Missing, Once, and More. That's Amazon.com/me and Molson Zia. Make sure you order today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who is the author of Secondary Break and NBA Dad Story, and he is the father of NBA player Marvin Williams Jr., and his son played 15 years in the NBA and played one season at North Carolina, got drafted second overall by Atlanta Hawks in the 05 draft, and later played for Utah Jazz, Charlotte Hornets, and the Milwaukee Bucks. And the dad, well, he graduated from Warner Pacific University, served in the U.S. Navy, and coached basketball for over 30 years. And he's got a great father and son story to tell. And he also teamed up with Chris Paul's dad to organize Fathers and Men of Professional Basketball. So as you know, this is kind of like a Father's Day edition, and it's not just for Father's Day. This applies to all dads who have sons, and especially playing basketball and other professions. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plush Studios somewhere in beautiful North Carolina, the author of Secondary Break and NBA Dad Story, the very amazing Marvin Williams. Marvin, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I think you might have some technical issues because I can barely hear you.
Okay, well, actually, we're still working on those, but we just wanted to make sure you can hear as well, too, that you're the father of NBA player Marvin Williams Jr., and you graduated from Warner Pacific University, served in the U.S. Navy, and coached basketball for over 30 years, and your son played 15 years in the NBA, playing one season at North Carolina, got drafted second overall by Atlanta Hawks, and you and Chris Paul's dad started an organization called Fathers and Men of Professional Basketball, and of course your book Secondary Break and NBA Dad Story. So before getting into all that, Marvin, tell us how you first got started.
How I first got started playing basketball?
Yes, you could also go even further back if you like.
Well, I learned how to. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. And actually, funny thing was Michael Jordan was born in Brooklyn during the same time. I was born in 19.
So Michael and you were born in Brooklyn at the same time?
Yeah, he was born in 63 and I was born in 64. He was born in February and I was born in July. Yeah.
Wow. How come I didn't know that in all the documentaries I've watched? He always grew up in North Carolina. How can we miss it?
Yeah, he did. He grew up in he grew up in Brooklyn, and they family, just like my family, we moved to New York from North Carolina. My parents moved to New York to North Carolina, from North Carolina, and then we stayed in New York. I stayed in New York till I was about 13. But in the process, growing up in New York, I learned the game of basketball from a couple of friends of mine. Mm-hmm. And then I just fell in love with the game of basketball and just wanted to play. I got addicted to it. I wanted to play all the time. Mm-hmm. And so, I carried that love with me everywhere I went. So I played. I learned to play when I was in New York, but when I turned 13, my parents moved us to Wallace, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And Wallace is a little bit different because back then, unfortunately, they had a whole lot of racial issue stuff going on.
Right.
And I spent a lot of time as a kid in the tobacco fields, mm-hmm. where I cropped tobacco from the time I was probably 11 or 12 to 17. During this, when I was in New York, my mom used to take us home during the summer and have us crop tobacco for our grandparents and help them guys. And then so when I finally moved to North Carolina, I started playing basketball as a getaway. Because my family had a lot of problems. My mom and dad drank. They had anger issues, were violent and stuff. And so I used basketball as my escape. And so I started playing basketball when I got down to Wallace. And then I started getting to know people that was, just like the game like me. I started being friends with Kenny Gaddison, who ended up playing in the NBA for a long time.
Wow.
Kenny Gaddison and me are still to this day best friends. I ended up playing against him when we were like 13 years old. Mm-hmm. And so then Mike started getting away from. Mike was playing baseball when we started playing basketball. We started playing basketball at 13. Mike was still playing baseball.
Huh, interesting.
And I used to go watch him play in the Pee Wees. And then he started playing basketball, and we all started getting together in a little town called Wallace. Mike and Kenny lived in what we would call the big city, which is Wilmington. Mm-hmm. And it was about 45 miles away from us. So we would drive. I would drive up to Wilmington and play with those guys on the weekends, and they would come down and play with me. And Mike's grandmother lived in my hometown, and so Mike used to come in there. Him and Larry, his brother Larry, they used to come in every weekend, like on a Friday, and hang out. And Saturday we play at the park, and then Sunday they would go to church with their grandmother, and then we would go back to the park and spend the whole day playing. So I did that for till I graduated from high school. I played with Mike near every weekend when he wasn't at that basketball camp that he went to.
Wow. That is amazing. It's like you and Michael pretty much grew up in the same neighborhood, less than 6 months apart. And of course, what was it like growing up with Michael Jordan at such a very, very young age, in Brooklyn, not North Carolina, but in Brooklyn?
Well, see, when he was in Brooklyn, my dad knew his dad. Mm-hmm. So they like I said, they all migrated from North Carolina up to New York. Mm-hmm. So my dad knew his dad. I didn't know Michael in a sense at that time. I got to know him a lot more when we moved to North Carolina, because he would come down every weekend. And at that time, he wasn't a big star yet. And then his junior year, he had went to a 5-star camp, and that's when he really got hot.
Wow.
But he still was the same guy. He still played ball with us every day. Everywhere we go, you have all the 200 or 300 people parked in their cars watching us play out on the court just to see him play. Then he come to his high school team was a bigger school than mine was, but they call us the Country Boys. So the Country Boys, my coach would always schedule us games against his high school and Kenny Gaddison's high school. We played 2 games a year against each one of those schools, and man, they would smash us though. Kenny was great, and so was Mike. They were smashes, but it was just fun and exciting. You couldn't even get in the gym. Some of the people had to stand up and look through the windows to watch the game because it was so packed when those guys came to town. I enjoyed it though. It was a blessing to be at the right place at the right time.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I wish I was there to watch you guys. I gotta say that. So
Yeah. They don't call it Tobacco Road for nothing. Yeah, we used to get it in down there.
Exactly. and what would you say, what was that one precise moment that influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your life? What was that one moment that simply said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my career?
Well, I tell you, I wanted my ultimate goal, even though I went a different route than Kenny and Mike, I wanted to be in the NBA as well. But I ended up joining the military because one of my friends told me, hey, man, he said, you can get paid to play basketball in the military. And I wanted to do something to help my mom out. And so I joined the military. And then when I joined the military, I got on this, aircraft carrier. My job basically on the aircraft carrier was to drive it. Mm-hmm. And so people found that I could play. And so we decided to form a ship's team. And our captain of the ship, he said, yeah, we'll go ahead and sponsor you guys and get you the supplies you need and stuff like that. And so they would schedule games for us whenever we pull in any port. We have games set up for us. Like we pulled in Australia, we played the Australian national team, and we played a whole lot of pro teams, some Canadian teams, and things like that. And so I ended up playing for the ship team about 4 years, and then they did a big tournament. The Navy sponsored some college basketball teams for a tournament in San Diego, and the catch was they had to put our ship team in the tournament with them. And so it was our ship's team, San Diego State, Michigan State, and Ole Miss, and Arizona State. And I ended up playing so well that the coach from Ole Miss and Arizona State really liked me, and they wanted me to see if I can get out the military early to go play. And so my captain pulled some strings and got me out of my contract. My contract was 6 years. Wow. But they got me out at 4 so I can go to school. And so when I went to go to school to tell my wife at the time, Marvin's mom, that we're gonna move to Arizona, she didn't want to leave. She was living in Seattle at the time, in a little town called Bremerton, and she didn't want to leave her mom. And then she didn't want to take Marvin way away from his grandma. So I ended up coming back, played at community college in their hometown, did well, and then I played at a Division I school, Christian school in Portland, Oregon, Warner Pacific. And then I did a bunch of tryouts, and then I think John Lucas was the last tryout. John Lucas let me in. He had a team that was really designed for, he was doing a drug rehab program, and he used basketball as an avenue for guys in the NBA who had drug problems. Mm-hmm. So they, the NBA would send them down there and let those guys work out this, get their stuff together. And once they got their stuff together, the league would take them back. And so John gave me a tryout down there. And then I eventually became one of the last 3 guys that he cut. And so he had to bring a kid on that the league wanted him to help with his drug problem. And so after that, my girlfriend taught me into coaching. And then I just started doing coaching my whole from there on. Then I started, I coached girls. I coached girls for a long time, and then I coached Marvin individually while I was doing individual coaching with girls. And so it just developed for him as a player.
Mm-hmm. And where did you coach basketball at, Marvin?
I was I started in Bellevue, Washington, at Bellevue High School. I coached girls basketball there for about 4 years. And then we developed in that community. It was an upscale community. And so the parents, those upscale parents, wanted to have their kids travel. The girls travel, play basketball, and get exposure. So we joined an organization called Seattle Magic, probably one of the top AAU programs in the country.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like 60% of our girls end up going to Stanford or all these big schools.
Mm-hmm.
And we won a lot of tournaments and did real well, man. I was pleased to play in that, to be a part of that organization. Did really good.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah. And of course, your son also, end up going to the NBA, which is amazing. We'll talk about that in just 1 minute. But first, you listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson Zia. Available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. And heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support the Mike Wagner Show with your generous donation at themikewagnershow.com. Also support us generously on Anchor FM/support and PayPal. And for great gift ideas, including t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, and a lot more, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, including t-shirts, tote bags, and throw pillows and phone cases, a lot more, go to the Mia Motion Zia store at Amazon.com. Also, for more great books like Missing and more, go to Amazon.com/Mia Motion Zia and order today. We're here with Marvin Williams, who's the father of NBA player Marvin Williams Jr. here on the Mike Wagner Show, and he's got a book called Secondary Break, an NBA Dad Story, which is just an amazing. Let's talk about your son for just a few minutes, Marvin. He played 15 years in the NBA, played 1 season at North Carolina, got drafted 2nd overall by Atlanta Hawks in 2005, also played for Utah, Charlotte, and Milwaukee. And, of course, he just must have had an amazing career. He was known for making that tip that won it for North Carolina, and things went well from there.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Marvin is he learned the game from watching, like I said, me coaching the girls, and then we had a young lady on our AAU team. She was just phenomenal. Her name was Sheila Lambert.
Oh,
Sheila
wow.
Lambert, as a freshman girl, led the state of Washington in scoring boys and girls. She averaged, I think, as a freshman, like 35 a game. She was just crazy good, man. And so she would spend, after practice, she would spend a lot of time doing drills with Marvin and teaching them how to handle the ball and do all kinds of stuff. And then I started, after she would do it, then he started getting interested. Said, Dad, I want you to start coaching me. So I would spend a lot of time coaching him. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 hours a day coaching him. And he got really good at it. He worked hard at it. And I love him because he never once, like some kids, you tell them, hey, man, do it this way. And then they'll tell you, hey, coach told me to do it this way, Dad. But Marv never said that. Anything I tell Marv, even while he was playing in the NBA, I used to coach him. He say, Dad, whatever you say, that's what I'm going to do. And so I worked him. Whenever he had trouble with his shot, he tells his coaching staff, no, my dad going to come in tonight and work on my shot for me. He didn't want nobody touching his shot. he just trusted me and believed in me, and so I got him. Thank the Lord, we got him the way he needed to be at. And he had a great 15-year career, and I think that's a blessing.
Mm-hmm. And definitely so too. That it's been very, very consistent. And he got
Mm-hmm.
drafted second overall by Atlanta Hawks, and played
Yeah.
for Utah, played for Charlotte, and played for Milwaukee. And of course, maybe just tell us about experiences he had. Maybe he talked to you about that, and just what it's like, playing for them as well too. I mean, 15 years, just like being a supportive role. It's like that's rare these days.
Yeah, he had a good run for a while in Atlanta, but I think Coach Woodson didn't do as good a job as I thought he should have with a player of his caliber. I think when you draft a kid number 2, that's saying something. That means you're trying to build your team around him.
Mm-hmm.
But they instead went a different direction, wanted to build it around Joe. And then Woodson, the better Marvin got, the more, in my opinion, Woodson did everything he could to keep him from being the best player that he could be. I think he really did super well in Charlotte. I think Mike and Larry and that staff, those guys knew exactly what to do with him. And that coach, I think the coach at Orlando right now, he did a fantastic job with Marvin.
Mm-hmm. And also playing for Utah and Milwaukee as well too, and of course, some good experience as well too. Maybe some interesting stories, and played for Utah for a bit, and also wrapped up his career with Milwaukee. Play with Andrew Bogut.
Yeah, he loved Milwaukee because Milwaukee, his experience with Utah was kind of brief because he was only there for 2 years. But his coach down in Milwaukee, he really loved how they approach the game, because all those guys, he said, Dad, we normally be in the gym for 2 and 3 hours. I come to Milwaukee, he treats us like we veterans. We go in and do what we got to do, and we out of there in an hour and a half.
Nice.
And so he said, everybody's so laid back. He said, those guys, he said, man, it was just awesome being there with them guys. He said, you can just get the feel that they're a first-class organization.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it. And it sounds like it too. And of course, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo as well too. It's even a more first-class organization than it's ever been. You can thank Andrew and your son for making it happen. I mean, just a fascinating career your son had.
Yeah. I was excited. I was very excited to be a part of it. I really thought they were going to win it last year. Unfortunately, I think that bubble messed some things up for him. Mm-hmm. But he had a good run, and he enjoyed his life, and I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm. And we're happy for your son, the Milwaukee Bucks, and all the teams he's played for. I mean, just fascinating. And you also teamed up with Chris Paul's dad to help organize Fathers and Men, a professional basketball. So you can talk to us more about that. It sounds like an amazing support group for father and son basketball players.
Yeah. Mr. Paul he hates me to call him Mr. Paul, but I'm gonna call him Mr. Paul because I respect him so much. He's a really great guy. And Chris Paul, when you see Chris Paul, you see his dad. The leadership, the caring for his team and other people. That's Chris Paul got that from his dad. His dad is our CEO of the organization of Fathers and Men of Professional Basketball. We started it out because, not knocking the moms, but the guys, there were situations, even I've been in a situation like this before, where Chris Paul's dad the mom would introduce Chris Paul's dad to other people, and they would act like he don't exist and just straight talk to the mom.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, and then, the media got this thing where they got people thinking that all these kids are going to the NBA don't have dads, and they do. And the dads weren't Johnny come latelys. A lot of them been with them their whole life. But the media don't talk about that, about the dad. They focus so much on, she's a single mom and things like that, when the whole time the dad's been sitting right there taking care of him and the one taught him how to play. Mm-hmm. And so we started that organization to bring awareness to people that some of the kids do have dads. And then we also wanted to, get out in the communities and do things to help bring fathers who aren't in the kids' lives, try to figure out how we can get them back in the kids' lives. Because dads are just as important as the moms are. And so we did that. We travel around different cities doing projects. We take kids, during the Christmas events. We was in Houston twice. We did an event to buy kids clothes down in the Fifth Ward. We went in there, bought them kids clothes, took them shopping. We donated money, and a period at the Tom Joyner Foundation, his Tom Joyner, I think the last one he just did, we was there. We donated money. Did some projects down there. And we try to bring awareness to people that how important fathers, the whole family dynamics is important. And so we try to get out and do that and spread the word. And like we do the voting, we did a big deal with the voting. A lot of the dads, Chris Paul and his dad, and a lot of the guys, they got out and they did a lot of stuff in their community to bring those people out to vote. I thought it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. And of course, in your definition, since this is somehow being like a Father's Day organization, what is your definition of becoming a father or a dad in your interpretation?
My definition of becoming a father or a dad, is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, I think a father is somebody who's there. You do whatever. I didn't live with Marvin, but Marvin could walk to my house. If Marvin moved, I moved. I didn't care what went on in my life, what job I had. I had quit jobs because of my son, because I wanted to make sure my son knew I was there, even though I didn't live in the house with him. If he had a problem, I wanted him to come to me when he couldn't go to his mom. And I made sure throughout his whole life that he knew no matter what he did, whether it was basketball, or even if he was a garbage man, I always wanted to make sure that he knew that I loved him, and I was always going to be there for him through thick and thin. And I think that's what a father should do. You don't have to necessarily be in the house or to get along with the mom. You still got to do your job as a dad. Be a provider, be a sounding board, and be an encourager, and let them know you always did and you love them.
Mm-hmm. And that's also very important as well, too. And we'll talk about your book, Secondary Break, an NBA Dad Story, in just 1 minute. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international war ring author Mia Molson-Zia of Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with Marvin Williams of Secondary Break, an NBA Dad Story, after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe-Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with Marvin Williams, the father of NBA player Marvin Williams, joining here on Mike Wagner's Show, and he's got a book on Amazon called Secondary Break, an NBA Dad Story, and it's just an amazing book, especially for all the dads out there who want to read, especially on Father's Day. And tell us more about the book, an NBA Dad Story, Secondary Break, and what inspired you to write it, Marvin.
Well, I wrote the book. I had my Marvin and I, pastor who lived in Seattle. He recently he died before I finished the book. He hadn't been encouraging me for years to write the book, but I felt like, I was telling him I didn't feel like what I did was any different than anybody else. But as I got to thinking about it and sitting down and reflecting on my life, I realized where I come from was tough. I could have went either way. My parents were alcoholics. They were abusive. They fought all the time. I could have went while I was in New York. There was gangs going on. I could have joined the gang and done some crazy stuff, but I chose to go the other way, and I used basketball as my avenue. and it opened a lot of doors for me. Even though the ones that I wished I had opened, I got better ones anyway. And so I wrote the book as a reflection of my life and to show God appreciation for how far He's taken me, and let Him know that, I appreciate you for carrying me when I couldn't even walk. It was more like a spiritual journey for me. And so the book I had it done so I wanted to inspire people. That was my goal. So when people read it, they say, "Oh man, this dude came from all that, and he still will find a way to succeed. Then maybe I can too."
Mm-hmm. And also explains as well too on Amazon. This book will show you how by continuing to follow your passions and dreams, anything become possible. And of course, maybe just a few examples from the book, and something that's very encouraging out there, especially for all the fathers out there and sons.
I think the thing that's most important is if you or your kid have a dream, you shouldn't let some obstacles stand in your way to stop you from achieving your dream. Sometimes there's gonna be setbacks. I've had issues. I got locked up, beat up by the police in Seattle. I ended up suing them, but I didn't stop pursuing my dream of being a good father and a good provider because I got locked up. I lost my job. I grew up in like I said, in an environment where they treated the kids in North Carolina. We spent 16 hours a day in tobacco fields. That's just straight slave labor because you didn't know no better. Mm-hmm. And I come from those environments, and I still kept my head and my mind focused, and I think that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what are some of the lessons that should be learned and taught as well, too, from your perspective for all the fathers and sons? What lessons are to be learned and taught?
I think the one thing I could say for fathers and sons is if you have a dad at home, work with your dad and trust your dad just like you would trust your mom. I think with dads, you gotta love your kid no matter what, whether they're a basketball player or they just a kid. You gotta love them, and if they want to do something and be successful at it, you gotta instill values in them. You gotta teach them character. If you say you're gonna do something, if a kid tell you he want to do something, hold him to it no matter whether he likes it or not. If he starts something, don't let him quit, because quitting is easy. Getting through tough things is hard, and that builds character. Mm-hmm. So I really think it's important that parents, if you start something with your kid, make sure they finish it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's important as well, too, especially during these times which are quite challenging, social media and everything else. And lastly, what is the one piece of advice that that all fathers should heed on? So what's the best advice you can give to any father or any son at this point?
My advice is to fathers today is make sure you understand that being a father is an important role, because your son is going to be who he see you as, whether he believes it or not. If he see you as that guy, then he's going to be that guy. So do your best to set the best possible example you can. You don't have to be perfect, because we're all not perfect, but understand that you're building a family tree, and it starts with the dads in the household, or whether they out of the household. You shining light for this young man, and so you got to do what you can to set the good example for him, so that when he becomes a father, he'll understand what fatherhood is really about, and won't have no bumps in the road.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important as well, too. And where can people find the book, Secondary Break, an NBA Dad's Story?
They can get it on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, iTunes, Google Play, and they also sell it in Walmart as well, or online at Walmart.
Okay. All right. We will certainly do that. Once again, we're with Marvin Williams, the father of NBA player Marvin Williams Jr. and author of Secondary Break and NBA Dad's Story here on the Mike Wagner Show on this Father's Day edition. Marvin, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. And just a few more here with you, Marvin, and help you celebrate Father's Day as well, too, with your son. And what can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Marvin?
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. What can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond?
Well, but my goal is to put out another book, a motivational book again, to help people. My goal is to always do what I can to help people. That's always been my agenda in my life, and I'm gonna continue to go down that pathway. And whatever I can do to influence somebody's life to make it more positive for them, that's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm. And we're certainly looking forward to it, Marvin. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
The biggest influence in my career?
Yes.
My son.
Mm-hmm.
Most people wouldn't say that, but I learned a lot. I think if parents sit back and pay attention to their kids, your kids can teach you a whole lot if you allow yourself to learn it. So I think probably my son.
Okay. Well, that's very good as well, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
The best advice I can give to, you said the dads at this point?
The best advice you can give to anybody. We already talked about the dads. How about to anybody at this point?
I think the best advice I can give people, without society the way it is today, try to learn to live as a child. And, you know, if you ever watch kids play on the park, they never care about who you are, what color you are, or anything. They just try to love you and be friendly to be friendly. And I think my advice to people today is try to love one another. It's really important. We got to find a way to do that, because it's tough being human as it is, and then you got other issues going on. So if you can find a way in your heart to find, to be caring to others, that'd be great, and that's most important to me.
And that's very important as well, too, Marvin. Once again, we're with Marvin Williams, the father of NBA player Marvin Williams Jr. and author of the book Secondary Break, and NBA Dad Story here on the Mike Wagner Show. Marvin, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date, and love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And before we go, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, where can people purchase, check out your book, and also check out the organization for fathers and men of professional basketball and other organizations.
Yeah, they can go. We got a website, Fathers of Men of Professional Basketball .com. I think it's called fam.com. You can reach me on Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram at Marvin Senior 01. I do a little bit of Facebook, but I'm mostly on Instagram.
That's fantastic. We certainly will reach out to you. Once again, Marvin, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing on this Father's Day special. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor. Keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch. You've been absolutely terrific and very inspiring.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate you, man. Keep up the good work.
Hey, everybody. My name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.